Hey everybody, today on Surf Chats with Topanga Lou, we have Frank. Hi Frank.
Hello.
So Frank is a surfer here at Topanga Beach. He's been surfing here for 50 years and he surfs Dawn Patrol. So what time is Dawn Patrol, first off?
It's before dawn. So
Okay.
I usually
5-ish?
a half hour or so before the sun comes up, something like that. This time of year it's probably like 6:15.
Yeah, 6 o'clock, yeah. So last year there was a radio show about Topanga Beach, and they came up with the word Topangry, saying that everybody at Topanga Beach is Topangry, racist comments were made and everything. So my first question for you is, when you heard the radio show, what was your first reaction to it?
Well, I was a little surprised by it because I felt it was a bit sensationalized.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. It seemed unfamiliar to me to a good extent.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the discussion about everyone being angry and sort of kind of a hostile environment. Certainly, people that who surf,
Mm-hmm.
people are trying to look out for each other's safety and are concerned about safety. And people do yell and shout at each other, to get out of the way and so on. But that's only for the purpose of being safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people in the water who don't. Perhaps because they're new or because they were or whatever, they just don't follow rules or the right protocol for being
Mm-hmm.
safe, and so it gets a little I don't know. Sometimes you have to call people out, let them know, hey, you're there, and
You're in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to be in the bay. If you're a beginner surfer, you shouldn't be at the point. Well, especially like if there's, if it's a really big swell.
Certainly when it's really big. Sometimes you get a lot of people who show up. Maybe they haven't surfed, in a long time, or maybe they barely surf at all. They see it's being surfed. They figure, they're going to paddle out at the top of the point, where it's probably the most difficult, the most challenging, and the most competitive,
And the most crowded.
And then that adds to the crowd, and adds to the crowd who are not. Don't have the skills to be in that situation, and people kind of yelling at people to, I don't know, get out of the way but really mostly for safety reasons. Like, hey, they're in the way, because everyone wants to be safe. Just show respect to everyone.
Well, yeah, you don't want to get hurt. You don't want to hurt somebody else. God forbid if you hurt them to the point where they lose an eye. They end up in the hospital, with a bunch of stitches, or God forbid their board hits them in the head in a certain place and they die.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen.
Yeah, well, certain people have been hit, by people on boards, who
Mm-hmm.
get knocked out or get cuts and bruises and scrapes and so on. So it's not. Safety needs to be taken seriously, and that's safety for yourself and for others. And people need to make sure that they're, surfing and being in the place that kind of meets their skill level, and be respectful of others, and just be able to be safe out there.
Yeah, well, I know that a lot of beginner surfers, they don't do it the right way. They don't learn how to surf the right way. At this beach especially, because they're supposed to be in the bay, but they always say, I've heard it over and over and over again, I just want to have fun. I'm just out here to have fun. And that's what they're telling a lot of the more experienced surfers, the expert level surfers. I'm just out here to have fun. Well, it's fine. It's fine if you want to have fun, but do it in a respectful and safe, safety-minded way, and always, like I said, surf in the bay first, and earn your way up into earn the respect and get your skill levels up, and then you can surf at the point at some point down the road.
And just follow the rules, because I always find it kind of funny, because people get in their cars, they drive on the freeway or the highway, and they drive here to go surfing, and when they drive here, they stay in their lane, they let people change lanes in front of them. They drive safely and carefully, and
They use their turn
respectfully
signal.
for others. They use turn signals. They slow down. They speed up depending on the situation. And they get here and they put on their wetsuits and get their surfboard. They go on the water and act like they can do whatever they want, and there's no rules and nothing. There's no consequence or danger of just getting on the water and just going wherever they want. But there are consequences, and people need to kind of follow the rules so everyone can be safe and have fun.
Well, yeah. So another surfer had said in the interview that he's a black surfer, and he had said that he had heard at 6 o'clock in the morning he's only been surfing for 2 years. So he had said that I had heard somebody yell out, "Go back to China." So you've been surfing at this beach for 50 years, and you've been here before dawn. So have you heard anything like that?
I have never heard anything like that.
And you surf here like practically every single morning, unless it's like flat as a flipper.
Yeah.
But you've been at the beach.
Yeah.
I've seen you early in the morning just walking when there was like nothing out there.
Yeah, and I don't know who surfs here regularly would have said anything like that. Just because I think everyone here is pretty respectful of everyone else, and you know, I don't know. It seemed like a very odd comment to me. I never experienced it or heard it or seen it happen to anyone.
Yeah, it just was a little bit shocking. I did talk to some of the Asian surfers here. I haven't gotten to Asian surfer girls yet, but I did talk to some of the Asian surfers, and none of them wanted to be on camera, but they did tell me, several of them said, "I've never heard a racist comment ever at this beach." One said that he heard a racist comment about 20 years ago, and another one said he hears it all the time. He hears racist comments all the time. He doesn't surf Dawn Patrol, so, you know, I'd have to ask some of the other surfers that surf later in the day. But, and I did talk to the gentleman who made that comment, you know, the black surfer who made that comment, or African American surfer, if you will. I did ask him if he would like to be interviewed, and he said he was in a master's program and with work and everything, he just didn't have the time. He did say that his comment was taken out of context, and he wasn't happy with it. He wasn't like really angry about it, but he wasn't happy with the fact that they did take his comments out of context. You know, so I would love, you know, whenever he gets the time, I would love to talk to him about it, and let's, you know, talk about it and stuff, what he meant, and, you know, and everything, what he meant to say, and, you know, and stuff, you know, but it's good for, you know, you guys to let everybody know that, you know, maybe back in the 1970s and 80s when it was more, locals were more prominent here, and they didn't like people from the valley coming out here and surfing, and that, not just this beach. You know, lots of beaches were like that back then. You know, they didn't like people to come out and surf these waters and stuff. But now it's different. It's more welcoming here. And we're not a Topanga group, you know, and everything. I joked with one of the younger surfers here, and I go, well, I'm Topanga all the time. And he, you know, everybody laughed. He said, oh yeah, Topanga Lou, you know, and stuff. But that's only because when people walk in front of my camera, that's what I get upset when I'm filming, you know, and stuff. That's what I get angry about. But I just find that this beach is a lot more welcoming, you know, and stuff. We have different, you know, races of all different nations come here and surf. You know, from all around the world come here to surf and stuff, you know, any time of the year, you know, not just during big swells, you know, they're on vacation or whatever, they just moved here or whatever. We have, you know, it's pretty welcoming here, and the only time I ever hear of any angry outbursts is when people are in the water and a beginner surfer is surfing the point, they don't have a leash, and they let go of their board and somebody gets hurt. And it's happened over and over and over again. So it is that's reason enough to be angry about that, you know, and everything. That's what I feel, and that's what I hear a lot. Because people come out of the water and tell me what's going on out there, you know. And so for somebody that doesn't have the surfing skill levels, are dropping in on people and causing accidents and stuff, and people are getting hurt, as what happened to you. Was a couple years ago when you got hit in the back of the head, you know, or in your ribs and stuff, and cracked your ribs and everything. You know, that's reason enough to be angry, you know, everything. But I think what they said on the radio show, what they're taking things that happened such a long time ago and putting it in the present was wrong.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah. No, it seems a little bit extreme. I mean, a little bit, exaggerated. On the radio
Yeah.
show.
Like it's, like we're still walking around here, beating everybody up on the, on the sand and everything. There are people that do get angry, surfers, emotions get high in the water, and sometimes they come out and, and they're yelling, screaming at each other on the sand, but there's never been punches thrown or anything like that, and stuff. But so is there anything else you'd like to add about the radio show or anything about Topanga Beach that, as a local, you've been surfing here for 50 years, what would you like to say about Topanga Beach?
I don't have anything else really to add. I think I'm okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you,
Thanks.
Frank, for being on Surf Chats with Topanga Lou.
All right. Thank you.